Okay, so let's start out with 3 or 4 basic kicks here, and we'll take them through a progression of simple to complex, slow to fast. But these are the basics for maintaining control while kicking. Okay, and so the first one we'll do, by the way, I teach these in my yoga classes as part of my vinyasa teaching. So the first thing we'll do is the front kick. And it's a simple front snap kick, but we'll break it down, okay? So when I'm doing a front kick, if I stand with my feet facing straight forward and I kick forward in this direction, I don't have much balance. So what I want to do is turn my standing foot out about 45 degrees. Anywhere 20 to 45 degrees, okay? I'm going to sink down into that leg. I'm not going to lock this knee. So first thing we always have in every kick is called a chamber. That's where we lift our knee up. That's where the kick comes from and where the kick goes back to. So this is the chamber for the front kick. Now I'm flointing my foot here from the side. You can see I'm pointing my foot like a ballerina, but flexing the toes, right? So we call it flointing. So standing foot 45 degrees out. Leg comes up and I'm flointing because when I'm kicking with this, I'm kicking out with the ball mount. Okay, I'm not kicking with the heel. Now you can kick with the heel. It's great to do a push kick with the heel. The problem with doing that immediately or at the beginning of a workout is it's a lot of pressure on your hamstrings and your lower back. This is pulling down the back of my leg and up my lower back here. If I don't have that range of motion, if I haven't warmed up. So I will always, at the beginning of a class, either point the foot or floint the foot and never dorsiflex. I'm in plantar flexion here, and this is dorsiflexion. Okay? And what I want to be able to do is control that by sucking in my core. So I'm going to take this spot where my belt buckle is, about a hand's width below my belly button, and I'm going to suck that in tight to activate my transverse abdominis muscles, and those will protect my lower back. So the 4 parts of the kick are chamber, extension, chamber, and back down. And I always want to put my foot back down, not drop it down, for various reasons. One, I just want that control. Okay, the more I can do that, the more control I have. And if you're practicing, if you're doing stunt work, you want that control. No matter what the situation is, you want to be under control. So if I am competing and I throw a kick out and I don't chamber afterwards and I drop down onto it, I'm dropping down into a counter punch or a counter kick, some kind of counter attack, and I have no control of where I'm landing. So I always want that chamber before the kick and after the kick. So it's chamber, extension, retraction, chamber. I can either go to the other side, in which case I would turn this foot out, chamber, extension, retraction, and put it back down again. But again, I'm putting it down. So we'll do that on both sides. Okay, and I'm going to do it towards camera, easier for you to watch me and follow me. So I'll start out with this foot. I'll start out with my right foot, which is your left foot. Just mirror me. We turn this foot out to 45 degrees, chamber and hold. Okay, if I'm having a hard time with this, then I need to practice this until I can do it. Now, if I extend and I have a bad back, a bad lower back, or a sore lower back, I don't want to extend all the way. And I pretty much don't want to extend all the way anyway. So many martial artists on whom I do therapy have bad lower backs, bad knees from hyperextending, locking that knee and hyperextending. Not great in this leg extension movement to hyperextend your knee. And that's why they have so many martial artists, older martial artists, have bad knees, is because they hyperextend. So I am going to extend the leg almost. You can see I have a little bit more bend, a little bit more to go before I straighten that leg, before I bring it back, chamber it, and put it back down. Okay, so we'll go side to side. Don't lock your knees. We start out slow. We can move into speed afterwards, but first pay your dues and develop the control. So this foot turns out, left foot kicks, chamber, up, chamber, put it down, own it. This foot turns out 20 to 45 degrees, same thing. Chamber, kick, chamber, put it down, turn it out. Up, out, back, down, other side, up, out, back, and down. So now I know that I have good control over my kicks when I can do more than one kick, when I can repeat on one side. So here's my left foot, your left foot, my right foot. Up, chamber, kick, chamber, kick, chamber, kick, chamber, and still put it down, not fall onto it. Other side. Up, chamber, kick, chamber, kick. All I'm doing is extending my leg. I'm not dropping my knee down after the kick and put it down. So what I don't want to do there is I don't want to lift, kick, and then drop it down. I'm not doing this. I'm keeping my leg. All I'm doing is extending from the knee and then putting it down. Okay, so there's the front kick. And so to aid that, we can strengthen the hip flexors. We can lengthen the lower back by stretching the hamstrings, keeping the knees bent again when we stretch the hamstrings. We never lock the knees in a forward fold, right? Great way to destroy your lower back. Great way to destroy the backs of your knees. So in this forward fold here, I'm lengthening, stretching my hamstrings, and of course there are other ways to do that. I teach yoga, that's one of the things that I teach. But what I want is control of this hip flexor and control of my core so that when I throw this kick, I could hold it out there if I want to. That's how another reason, or another way for me to figure out if I have control. If I throw my kick out and then it drops down here afterwards, I can't come back to the chamber, I don't have the strength. I haven't developed that yet. So pay your dues, because if you're fighting on film and you're just throwing kicks and you have no control, you're going to kick someone, you're going to fall down, and you won't be doing what the stunt coordinator needs you to do. Okay? It doesn't look good when you're out of control. So unless, of course, that's the part that you're playing, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So there's your front kick. We'll go through it one more time. We'll do 3 kicks on each side. Okay, so we'll start with your left foot again. Turn this foot out. Sink into that leg. Chamber, kick. Chamber, kick. Chamber, kick. Chamber, put it down. And I mean put it down. Okay, so every time I put my foot down, initially, I want to imagine that I'm stepping into a puddle of water. And I don't want to create any ripples in that water. That's how gently I'm imagining putting my foot down. Here we go. The other side now. Chamber, kick. Chamber, kick. Chamber, kick. Chamber, put it down, own it. There's the front kick. Quite simple. So now we'll move into the next kick, I believe is the next easiest kick. Or the next most difficult kick. Like I said, we'll work in order of simple to complex. And this is the roundhouse kick, and I'm just going to do a lead leg roundhouse kick. Okay, so my roundhouse kick, I'm going to turn my standing foot 160 to 180 degrees away from where I'm kicking. I have a wall behind me. I'm kicking along the wall. Okay, so wherever I'm kicking, I'm going to turn my standing foot away. And for some reason, if it's not away, I'm going to pivot it so that it is turned away. You don't want to throw a roundhouse kick with your foot facing the side. You've no balance, you've no power, and you're going to hurt your hips. So this time we'll start on your right to make it easier for you, because it's a more challenging kick. So I'm going to turn this foot out 160 to 180 degrees. I'm going to sink down into this leg. You always want your standing leg bent, and the reason for that is because your knee is a stabilizing joint. Your knee needs to wobble around. If your knee is locked, now your hips have to wobble around and your whole body moves. Okay? So I'm going to sink down into this leg for balance. I'm going to point my butt and my hand and my toes at the direction in which I'm kicking, which is directly down this wall. Okay? As I lean over, I'm not going to drop my head because now I couldn't see my opponent. My shoulder's in the way, and I'm not balanced, I'm going to crunch up. I'm going to try to keep my shoulders as level as I possibly can. And then I'm going to point my toes and bring my heel to my butt. And now I'm pointing my knee at the target. And here's my chamber. I'm going to lift my knee up to hip level or higher if you have that range of motion. This hand, if you're a yoga practitioner, could be in half prayer, or it could just be here. And this hand could be resting on the thigh or just between you and your opponent. We don't want to be here. We don't want to be stiff. We want hands open, relaxed. So I'm in the chamber. Okay, find this place. Now extend the leg, bring it back, and just touch it down. And then if I want to, I can put weight on it. Just shift over, point my knee at my target, heel to my butt, toes are pointed. I'm in plantar flexion. Reach out, touch with someone with the toes, bring it back, and put it down. Now, if you are really kicking barefoot like this, you have many small bones in your foot, just like you do in your hand. Your metatarsal bones are really small. And if you kick somebody really hard like this, you will break them. Okay? So I would never actually kick someone unless I had a decent pair of shoes or boots on, or I would kick with the shin. But this looks a lot better, and looks better on screen. Crunching, shoulders level, obliques working over time. Heel touches my butt. Reach out. Point your toes like you're pointing at your target. There's my target. Point to the target with this hand. This hand is guiding in front of your chest, protecting. Bring it back. There's the chamber again. And put it down. And then we'll switch sides. Okay, so I'll turn 160 to 180 degrees out with this foot. Sink into this leg. Crunch into these obliques and these lats. This lat right here. Shoulders stay level. I'm going to point at my target here. This hand, half prayer-ish position. Now my toes pointing towards the target, so I bring my heel to my butt, and I want to try to lift my knee so that it's like a tabletop. With my thigh and my shin, I could put a tabletop on here, okay? I could put something on there and rest a bottle of whatever on there. Bottle of wine, bottle of champagne, beer. So from here, I reach out, touch, back, and gently put it down. Again, no ripples in that puddle. And then I can step onto it if I want to, right? Shift, heel to your butt, point your knee at your target, reach out, bring it back to the chamber, and put it down. Let's do one more on this side. So, shift, up, point your knee at your target, point your toe at your target, heel touches the butt, and back down. We'll switch sides again now. Notice, turn this foot out, 160 to 180 degrees away from my target. So now remember what I said about being able to kick more than once is a good test of how you're balanced and what your form is like. So, chamber, reach out, back, reach out, back, crunching upwards, right? Reach out, back, now put it down. Let's switch sides. Once again, 160 to 180 degrees, there's my target, crunching in, not leaning away from this, crunching in. I could look at my target, heel to my butt, there's the chamber. It snaps out, but I don't hyperextend the knee. Back to the butt, out, back, out, back, and put it down, own it. So there's the basics of the roundhouse kick or round kick. Okay, now this is the same if I were doing this from the rear leg, the same principles apply. If I were in a fighting stance and here I am doing whatever I'm doing with my opponent or my stunt fighting partner, the same principles apply. If I'm going to throw this rear leg roundhouse kick towards you, I'm going to pivot this foot 160 to 180 degrees away from you. I come around, I pivot, I kick, and then either I can follow through and spin around, or I can just put it down and step in and do something else. But I want that control, and the key is the chamber. Pivot, chamber, kick. Now go this way, or come back down this way. whatever works for you, okay? Whatever the choreographer is telling you to do. So we want that chamber. That is the key to all the kicks, is having a good chamber and having your balance in the chamber. I have stood in this posture for hours and hours just developing this so that I can do whatever I need to do. And of course, don't forget that you may need to go from a front kick, pivot, to a roundhouse kick, back to a front kick again, same foot. You want that control, so develop the chambers. Okay, so the first two kicks, front kick, roundhouse kick. Now the side kick, different chamber. Other than that, it's very similar in the stance. So I'll do again this side first. I'm going to turn this foot out, 160 to 180 degrees. I'm going to sink into my leg, crunch in, keeping my shoulders level. Now I'll bring my knee to this hand that's going to be in around half prayer position. This hand can be out deflecting, protecting, pointing, whatever, okay? But this knee is now going to come up. I'm going to lift my heel to the same height as my knee. I'm going to touch my knee to my hand, just for guidelines. And here's my chamber, okay? I'm in dorsiflexion. I've pulled the toes back, and I'm going to kick with the heel. Okay. Now I press out to the same position as the roundhouse kick, but it's a press, it's a push, like a stump or a squat, pushing with the heel, and bring it back, chamber, of course, and then slowly put it down. Now we'll switch sides. So, 160 to 180 degrees. I'm a firm believer that you have to be able to kick the same with the same efficiency and proficiency on both sides. Just like when I shoot archery, I shoot both left and right-handed. When I do sword work, I do both left and right-handed. I think it's important. Maybe one day you're called in to be a stunt double for somebody who's left-handed. Then there are a few guys to choose from, but you're one of them. Or a few women to choose from, but you're one of them, okay? So you get that opportunity. I'm a firm believer in doing that. What happens if you injure this hand, and this is your dominant hand, and you get called for a job, and now you can't do the job? Well, you're using a sword. You only need one hand for that. So use your non-dominant hand. But if you haven't trained in it, you can't do it, right? So here we go. Side kick on this side. Knee to the palm. There's my chamber position. I'm going to lift my heel. My shin is pointing directly at my target. From my knee to my heel to the target is a straight line. I can bring this hand out here. I can just rest it on my thigh, whatever works for me right now. Press out with the heel. I'm still crunching upwards. I'm not hyperextending the knee. Easy to hyperextend the knee in this kick. Don't do that. Bring it back to the chamber. Control it. Put it down. Own it. So now let's go. We'll do both sides. We'll do 3 on each side. So I'll come up, chamber, kick. Chamber, kick with the heel. Chamber, kick, slowly put it down, switch sides, turn that foot, don't forget to turn this foot. Chamber, kick, chamber, kick, chamber, kick, and then I can put it down, or I can chamber and go into something else and then put it down. Okay? So now you have front kick, roundhouse kick, and side kick. Now here's the thing about the side kick, that it has evolved through the years, and side kicks used to look like this. We used to have our foot facing perpendicular to the target, and we would bring the foot, and some styles still do this, and I have no idea why, but they still do this. Bring the foot to the inside of the knee, and then chamber there, and then strike out here with the blade of the foot, and then come back. And the blade of the foot is the outside of the foot here, right? If your ankle is bent like that, and you kick something hard, you break your ankle. Okay? So now we kick with that straight line from the knee to the heel, boom, and the heel goes through the target. It's like taking some type of weapon and poking straight forward, right? Poking straight forward, rather than hitting this way. Doesn't work quite as well like that. So This strike here is a push. It's a power kick. And again, it could be added to a rear leg. Again, I would spin and pivot and throw. Or it could be added to a spin, just like all the kicks, where I'm going to turn and spin and kick. That's another class. Okay? So there's your front, round, and side kick. So now let's combine two of those kicks for a what we call a hook kick or a heel kick. So again, this is just one dimension. I haven't talked about stepping in and kicking. I haven't talked about jumping and kicking. Various different options there, okay? But for basics, so you can have these basic drills that cover almost all the kicks, or that do cover all the kicks, these are they. So here we go. So I'm going to start again, we'll start on this side, and I'll turn this foot out. So now the next kick is a combination of a side kick and the back end of a roundhouse kick. So you'll remember the side kick chamber started here in front. With my heel up at knee level. Again, I have this tabletop position, or as close to it as I can get. Right? I'm crunching up. Now I'm going to side kick, but not to my target, just a little bit in front of my target. And then when I get there, I'm not locking the knee, I'm pointing the toes, and I come back to the hamstring, closing the hamstring, engaging the hamstrings here, the back end of that roundhouse kick, before I put it down. So from the side, it looks like, if I were kicking towards you, I'm not kicking at you, I'm kicking over here and slapping across, right? I come up, I chamber, I kick here, slap across, and then put it down. So there's the basics of that kick. So let's take one on this side, and then we'll break down, go through 3 on each side. So, chamber, out, point your toes back to the bum, chamber, put it down. Now let's go to the other side. Turn 160, 180 degrees, chamber in front, bring this heel up, press it out, not directly at the target, slightly in front. Kick across with the sole of the foot, or the heel, or the ball mount, touch your bum, point your toes, and then put it down. So, in this kick, there's a slight difference in that when it's done quickly, again, there's a tendency to hyperextend the knee, and we don't want to hyperextend the knee. But what you want to do is wait till that leg is extended most of the way, and then flick it back. So it has to be kind of relaxed. If it's not relaxed, it's going to be slow and is not going to look good or be effective. So let's go this side, 3 kicks. Okay, so I turn these toes out, I crunch in, find my balance. Before my foot even leaves the ground, I figured out that I can take my weight off this foot. I'm not just going here and lifting it and then falling over. I've got all my weight on this leg, 100%. I'm empty on this foot, as we say in Tai Chi. This foot is empty, and then I can pick it up with no problem. So side kick chamber, side kick, point the toes, pull it back, bring it in front, side kick chamber, press it out, pull it back, roundhouse kick chamber, right? Last one, side kick chamber, out, pull it back, and then we'll just put it down, we'll switch sides. 160, 180 degrees, shoulders stay level, crunching into the lat and the obliques here. Knee in front, side kick chamber, press it out, pull it back, bring it back to the side kick chamber, side kick, back side of the roundhouse kick. One more time, out, back, hook. Let's do one more time just for fun. In front, out, hook, and then put it down, own it. Okay? So now all these kicks, apart from that front kick, are really developing strength in the outer hips here. Unfortunately, what they're also doing is putting pressure on your lower back, so you need to be certain that you stretch the outer hips and the outer side of the hamstrings here to release that pressure. Otherwise, you will end up with back pain and back injury, like a lot of martial artists do. And you could look at my other videos for that, because I have a lot about that. That's what I specialize in, is back pain for active people, professional athletes, stuntmen, and so on, stunt performers, and so on. So 3 kicks. Front, round, side, and hook. And that should be done on both sides with equal proficiency. Front, see if I can do this now. Roundhouse, side, and hook. Okay, more or less. So there you have it. Once you have this kick and this feeling of control, and you can hold this leg out here, and hold it, and hold it, and hold it, and you can figure out which muscles can relax, and which muscles need to be engaged, you can do this all day long and have whatever control you want. And of course, then you can add speed and power, you can change from one kick to the other, and so on. Okay, so important basics for the 4 basic kicks. The next one I would tell you about is a crescent kick. We have an outside crescent where we kick with the outside of the foot or the ankle or the leg, and an inside crescent. And that is very similar to the front kick. The front kick, as I said, toe turns out 20 to 45 degrees, knee lifts up, foot comes out, back and down. I'll do it on the other side because it's easy for you to see your right foot, my left foot. So, front kick up, chamber, kick, chamber, down. With the crescent kick, I do the same thing, but as I'm doing it, I just swing it across to the left. So I chamber, extend, swing it across, chamber, bring it down. When I put that together without stopping in the extension, there's your crescent kick. It comes across the face, and of course, this can get bigger and wider, and there's another variation, which is just a big swing across and a slap across the face, and that's fine too. Of course, there's a lot less control with that. So let's do the crescent kick. We'll turn this foot out 45 degrees. Let's go. Knee comes up, and I'm relaxing this leg because I want to flick it up. Not hyperextend it, but I want to flick it up, straighten, bring it across, bend the knee chamber, and put it down. Let's do the other side. I'm like Charlie Chaplin right now, right? 45 degrees, 45 degrees. I can switch to either side. Shift, chamber, extension, cross, chamber, and control. Put it down, don't drop it down. Own it. You have to own everything you do. So here we go. With the kicks, that's challenging too. Here we go. So nice and slow, full range of motion. Up, across, chamber, down. Let's go to the other side. Up, extend across, chamber, down. Up, extend across, chamber, down. Up, extend across, chamber, and down. Now that can be done the opposite way. So I can, from my stance here, I would turn this toe out, across, chamber, and down. On this side, out, extend, across, chamber, and down. It's really no difference. I'm just going in the opposite direction. But here's the thing. If you don't chamber that foot, if you kick, that's fine. This is an easy chamber. But if you extend and do your kick wherever it's going, and you don't chamber afterwards, you're going to drop onto that foot. And you've got a lot of weight on this, coming down this leg that's kicking, that pulls on your lower back. So what do? I throw this crescent kick, chamber, and then I can control where I'm going. Roundhouse kick. Okay? That's important to have that chamber afterwards. Don't miss that step out just because you want to look cool and throw a big high, crescent kick. Okay? So we'll do this 3 times on each side. This is a challenging one. And we'll do it slowly with control, because that's the goal. Do this exercise 10, 15 minutes. Do it 5, 10, 15, 20 times every day with each kick. And then the rest of the kicks just come. The spinning kicks come easily. The jumping kicks come easily because you've got the basics down. So, here we go. Your right foot, my left foot. 45 degrees. Target. Knee, extend, across, down. Now we'll go back the opposite direction because I can, because I chambered. Extend, across, down. Out, extend, across, and put it down. Ready? Other side. Knee, extend, crescent kick, back. Extend, crescent kick, back. Extend, crescent kick, back, and put it down. Okay? So that's my tutorial for today on the basics of kicking. For stunt work, for competition, for whatever, for exercise. Okay? And any of these kicks, you can do yoga style where you can just hold. For example, in classical Indian yoga, we have this posture called Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana, which other people teach. Hand to big, extended hand to big toe pose. I'm holding the big toe with my two-piece fingers, standing tall, square up my chest. Well, what if I could do that without using my hand? Well, I can. Why? Because I practice the chambers. I have the stability, I've built the core strength, even though I'm an old man. So this helps if you're teaching yoga and you're not a martial artist and you never practice martial arts. Try this. Try this classic, half moon pose where you're leaning on your hand for balance because that's how you've always done it. And then bring this hand to half prayer and see if you can crunch up. And see if you can do this this side kick or roundhouse kick position. Maybe you want to play in your class. Kick, straighten, put it down, switch sides, whatever, okay? This affects body movement in general. There are no little boxes. This is yoga. This is kickboxing. This is Tae Kwon Do. This is karate. No, it's all melded into one now, okay? So enjoy. Feel free to give me feedback. Contact me if you have any questions, and I will be seeing you again in the next video. Bye for now.